Do you know who the shot caller is in your life? Is the shot caller in your life you? Is it always you making the final decision? Are you the only one who signs the checks? Are you the only one who decides where the money goes? Are you the only one who is finally and ultimately responsible for every success you've ever had? I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. And I want you to understand, it's a hard lesson to learn. It was a hard lesson for me to learn. I think it's a hard lesson for every leader to learn. And it doesn't matter at what level. If you are convinced that you are the top dog, the sole decision maker, the final authority at anything in your life, you, my friend, are delusional. I'm going to let that settle in for a second, because there are a lot of people who lead with the presumption that I'm it. It's me. Now, it may be true that the buck stops here, and by that I mean there's nobody else to blame. Once it hits your desk, you get all the blame for everything that went wrong. That might be true. And it might even be true that there is only one signature box on the bottom of the check, and you're the one who signs it. But chances are, even if you're the president, the CEO, the founder of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you have a board. Yeah, they're kind of required in today's business world. You have a board. You have people that you must answer to as a leader. And the challenge that I find is not really as often at those high levels where there's a CEO or a CFO and a CMO and a CTO that all combine their minds together to accomplish the work that must be done. It's very seldom someone at that level who has the delusion that they're ultimately in charge. Usually it's the beginning leader, the entrepreneur, the small business owner, the parent, who feels like, by golly, when I put my foot down, that's the end of it. There's no more discussion. And so even in families and marriages, that sense of finality of authority causes a word like submission to be, it's a little ruffling of feathers. It's a war. Because the idea that I must submit myself to you means that I've given up some of my power. I've given up some of my authority. I've given up some of my ability to you to make decisions for me. Okay, here's the truth. If that's the opinion that you have or the understanding that you have of submission, you got it wrong. And the attitude that you carry because of your perception of submission is dangerous, and it can destroy you. See, submission isn't simply, I give up, I surrender to you, I have no decision-making ability. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is a synergistic ability to say, I have some strong ideas, I have some great opinions, I'm really educated in this area, I have a pretty good idea that what I'm going to do is going to work. But I'd like some feedback. I would like to know that someone has got my back on this idea, that I'm not making this decision on my own, that if I do go out there on a limb and I pull this off, that someone's going to celebrate that success with me. And if I go out there on a limb and accidentally saw it off behind myself, that somebody's going to be there to pick me up when I hit the ground. That someone cares enough to say, okay, here's how you might have done that differently. See, submission isn't just giving up your rights and your power and your authority. No, it's finding someone to whom you can ultimately be responsible to say, I screwed that up. And if you are under the delusion that because you started this on your own, because you built this on your own, because you're a self-made man or a self-made woman, that you have no accountability and no one to answer to, ultimately you are delusional, because there will be a day of reckoning There will be a day of judgment. It may be in this life and it may be in the next, but my friend, it's coming. That's a promise. You will eventually submit to someone. You can choose today who that will be. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.